Soon we're going to be joined by a very old friend of mine that lives in the area, Guy Zimmerman, who was working for the Department of Forestry in Tennessee for his entire career. And we're going to be talking about forestry, and we're going to go for a hike in the woods, maybe look for some mushrooms. So stay with me. Good boy. Good boy.
All right, these are the giant African kettle gourds I grew last year. I had a total of 35, and they all came from one single plant. And these things are pretty gigantic now. I can lift them now, but when they were green, I could not possibly lift them up. And I know they look ugly right now. This is part of the gourd curing process. You can see on this one, underneath, there's a nice smooth skin that'll clean up. And so you can take this and get it wet and scrape on it. This will all come off, and you'll have a tan, beautiful looking gourd. And these are very thick skinned. I'm hoping I can do a lot of carving on these. They're probably 3/4 inch thick.
How much do they weigh now?
I mean, a lot less than they did. Because I'm lifting, no, that's like 20 pounds now. And
that weighs 20 pounds?
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not lifting it. I'm thinking it weighs a pound because it's empty inside.
Oh, no, it's still got a little to it. You know, I mean, even a month ago, this was kind of hard to pick up because there's still so much moisture in there, and they just naturally dry through the skin eventually.
And how long does that take?
Well, for these big ones, it's taking a long time. You know, usually, like my smaller ones, they're ready by, you know, Christmas or something. These are still not quite there. There's a lot of moisture in these still.
I thought you were retired.
Man, kind of, semi.
Oh, that's not a uniform shirt. It looked like your uniform shirt for a second.
Oh no, it's
I am rolling. Introduce yourself.
Guy Zimmerman from Tennessee. I was just asking Darrell, how do you keep bamboo under control?
Right.
Well, that's a good question, and a lot of people are afraid to grow bamboo because they hear, oh, it's so invasive, it'll take over your place. And it's not that scary. First rule, remember, it's just a plant, okay? We can master these things. We can be in control. Here's the one way. This is called bamboo barrier. It's a dense black plastic, goes down about 30 inches. Bamboo is a very shallow rooted plant, so it's not gonna go down and under it. It might try to send some roots out over it, which is why you leave a little lip stick up, and you can watch for them. Every fall you can walk around, and if you see a root, you chop it off. Some varieties are much more invasive than others. And again, that shouldn't scare you. In my gardening, I try to work with nature, not against nature. That's why it's organic. I'm not gonna spray bugs or anything. If I'm trying to grow a plant and it doesn't do well here, well, I just quit growing it and do something else. She's already told me I talk too much.
You've been tanked up on coffee too. I think we all are.
All right, the other way to contain bamboo is the way you use it yourself. Okay, let's say this bamboo, I have it, some of it has escaped. Here it comes. Well, this is my food source. I come out, I cut them off, I eat them. And that way they don't invade toward my house. I cut everything that is where I don't want it. I get rid of it. There's my bamboo growth. And they only shoot in the spring, so you only have to be vigilant for a few weeks. You're good for the rest of the year.
Is that true of your zone, or is that true anywhere?
That would be true anywhere. Yeah, I mean, there's running bamboo and there's clumping bamboo. All mine are runners. And they can take colder temperatures generally. That's why most people that grow bamboo around here are going to grow the running type. I grow bamboo for a lot of reasons. I mean, one, it's just plain beautiful. It brings more variety and more biodiversity to my property. Birds roost. I have cardinals that roost up here every night. You can hear them chirping and chirping when I sit on the porch. It's so nice. And when the wind blows, these things sway, and just hearing the leaves rustle, and there's a beauty in that. And so, you know, I grow it for beauty. I grow it for food. You can grow it to hold land in place along an eroding area or something. There's many uses and reasons to grow bamboo. When I first moved here, you could sit on the front porch and watch cars go the whole distance and, you know, wave at them and see them. They can see you. Now I put all this up. Now I'm back in the middle of nowhere now.
I am a retired forester. I've been working in the field for 40 years, and one of the problems that we have are exotic invasives that get out. And you may be able to take care of the invasive problem, but once you're gone, the next individual may not be able to take care of it, or they may not care, and it can really get out. And Tennessee has a lot of exotic invasive plants now. In fact, that's almost the #1 problem in our forest is exotic invasive plants.
Right.
Bamboo will grow anywhere. There's places where bamboo is a very big problem, where it's gotten out.
All right, I got a few things to say to that.
Make it 50 seconds or shorter.
Dream on.
I didn't come here to be your nemesis.
No, that's
Okay,
fine. No,
okay.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the opinion of a lot of people. And I've been to bamboo groves where it has infiltrated into the forest.
Yeah.
And to me, it pops up here and there because the shade limits it. I mean, bamboo loves the sun.
Yeah.
If you put it in the woods, you're not going to have much success, really. So a forest cover is a limiting factor. A river, it can't cross a year-round flowing river.
But what happens over time is that bamboo gets a niche.
Right.
Once it gets established,
Right.
once everything starts to die out, because nothing can grow underneath it. I mean, it weeds out everything.
Yes, if it makes a grove, that's true.
And nothing can get established.
Right.
But then over time, it becomes established.
Okay.
And it continues to grow once all the species that are overshadowing it die out.
All right, here's my answer to that.
Okay.
I think, people have this thing about we want to keep the forest just as they are right now. This is, we don't want to change anything. But nature changes all the time. The nature of a forest is going to change as the climate changes as time goes on. And we in America, I think we have missed out big time. We have not embraced bamboo like China and Japan and some of these countries. This is such a useful plant. And yeah, okay, maybe somebody let some escape in the woods. Well, we should be taking advantage of that. Use that bamboo. Do you realize, as a forester, this should be important to you, do you realize we make all our paper by cutting down trees, and we clear cut, and then we plant pine trees in rows and cut down every 20 years. You get maybe 3 harvests out of that till you depleted the soil. If we were using bamboo to make paper, the land that we have devoted to tree farming for paper, we could cut that down to 10% of what it is. And we could make our paper from bamboo renewable. You harvest every year from it, not all of it, but it keeps coming up. Or you could clear cut and it would still come up.
One of the most invasive species in this area is tree of heaven. And once it becomes established, it's very difficult to control. And it's very expensive to control. Mm-hmm. And it starts occupying space where our native species once resided.
Right. Well, I understand how we have a good thing going here with our environment and nobody wants anything to change, but I think the world's too dynamic and it's going to change. And so tree of heaven, I agree with you, it's not the greatest thing to have spread all over the place. It's not the nicest tree, but bamboo, if it happens to you, make use of it. It's a gift.
The main issue is if you want native species, exotics will a lot of times crowd out the native species.
Right.
And the native bamboo.
The native bamboo in America is called Arundinaria gigantea. It's the only bamboo native to America. So if you see any bamboo growing that's not that, it was brought here from somewhere else.
That native bamboo, did you know that they used to use it to prospect for coal in Tennessee?
How?
Well, what happens is usually it grows in a very wet area in the woods, and where the wet area is, there's either a coal seam that crops out, and the water percolates down to the coal seam and it comes out, and bamboo, the native bamboo, establishes a niche there. So over a period of time, the earlier people that were in exploration of coal realized that, and they started digging for the coal, and they usually would find a coal seam. It'd be a coal seam or a shell seam. In fact, if you see it on your property, it's usually where the Chattanooga shell crops out, and you'll find a native.
That's probably what I have going here. Yep. Without ever touching the ground. Okay, you can do irrigation.
My grandfather just did. Yes, there was a lot.
Welcome to my bamboo groves. I've got about 12 varieties here in front of my house that I grow for different reasons. The beauty, of course, but this one is called Stacys aurea. It's a fishpole bamboo, and it's the first bamboo ever brought to America. To make fishing poles, I guess, was a big important thing. So they chose that one. I grow this one because it has excellent tasting shoots, which we're gonna harvest some here shortly. In fact, there's some right at my feet. If we can get you to look down, we will be cutting these. These are about the perfect size right here. and we're going to cut these off with a shovel, and I'll show you how I prepare them. So let's take a little walk through the bamboo.
Okay.
And every little division, you notice I'm using the plastic barrier, and some places it's splitting and the bamboo's escaping. That's how it goes. But I do have different varieties in each section. This has no barrier. This is black bamboo. The stems actually turn black after a few years. This is STACY's Hennen. This can get quite big. This can get to be about 4 inches in diameter. But it's had some rough winters and knocks it back. It takes a few years to build up to that size. Let's go down this way. I have trails meandering all through here. I guess we don't need to wander through all of them, but I do want to take you across to this bigger bamboo. It's a nice little walk through there. This is a nice little walk I get to take every day to get my mail. When it's hot summertime, I can walk in the shade of the bamboo and get right down here to my mailbox. Bamboo groves just constantly need maintenance if you want it to look the way you want it. Now, like right here, these are shoots coming up that I'm not going to harvest because I want this to fill in more and hide the road more. So those are going to grow up this year and help do that.
Darrell, you said you were a little bit of a hermit.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a hermit. I found paradise, and every time I think of going somewhere, it's like, is that better than staying here? I stay here. All right, this is a cousin to the other plant I said had good tasting shoots. This one, oh, I'm sorry, that's the Basedia. Well, it has good tasting shoots too. This is the cousin. Right here. This is green stems, green culms with a yellow stripe. The other one is yellow with a green stripe. They're the same bamboo, but just related inversely like that. And I wish I could keep up with my bamboo maintenance a little better than I do, but it's still fun to walk through here. You need to harvest about 20% of the canes every winter to keep a bamboo grove vibrant and healthy. And I admit I have not been able to keep up with that.
What do you think, Guy?
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much shade you get.
Oh man, I'll tell you, you come out here high noon on a hot summer day, it's so cool and shady in there. Yeah, that's real nice. And see how some of these are coming out maybe more than I want, but rather than cut them down right away, you want to let a bamboo cane get about 3 or 4 years old so it's strong wood and you can use it. So I got about 1 more year on these. It's come out a little more than I want it to, so I'll probably cut all those down and use that wood. All right, here we are back at my bamboo shoots. Now, we know the roots are probably 2 or 3 inches. The rhizome that moves along here is about 2 or 3 inches below the ground. So when I cut these, I'm going to try to get a few inches under them and get as much shoot as I possibly can. All right, here's another one. And you know, if I'd have cut it at the surface, I'd have missed that much shoot. So I try to get as much as I can.
Okay.
And we'll grab one more here. Okay. Get that one under the ground a little. And that may, oh yeah, now see, you can tell I got right at the rhizome on that one. That's where it joined into the root running sideways. Okay. So that was a good cut there. Let's get one more. All right, I got it. Yep, also you can see you're down near the bottom. I just wanted to show this quick. This is from China. It's a moso bamboo, which is real thick, and they can carve in it. And this is the bamboo culm or stem where it joins in at the roots. And they pulled everything out of the ground. They used the roots for the beard, and I want to show you the back side. And you can see that that's all the divisions in the bamboo. And of course they stretch out as it grows tall, and you get tall bamboo, you might have a foot apart or something like that. But when they're first growing and down close to the ground, those are close together, it gives it more strength. Now I want to show you how I prepare the bamboo shoots to cook. These are the same ones we just dug up a moment ago. And I take them like this. Notice how pretty they are. That variety is very pretty. You cut right down the middle and open it up like a book. And now you can see all the divisions there. Okay, now you can see that there's protective sheathing around this. Well, you want to work your way down right there to the tip and get your thumb under it. And this is what we're going to eat. So I'm getting that separated. I'm going to do it to this one. Sometimes they break, but I cut them in pieces anyway because I'm going to stir fry them later or something. So now, when you see one where the nodes are getting pretty far apart, I'm going to cut a little bit. It starts to get a little woody, and if it's green, you know, so I'll cut a little of that off. I'm not going to use that. So here's what I would have harvested, and I'd cut it about like that to stick in the stir fry, and that shoot's ready to go.
You built this tree.
Well, I had cut some big cedar trees down, and I had 2 that were 14 feet long, big cedar trunks that big around, and with the help of a skid steer, I got them down here and got them across the creek. All right, so having the gravel here, you know, gives you a good firm base. It's probably about that thick. I just built it a few months ago.
Okay.
Just put it here.
Have you managed the last 3-4 months?
Yep. It wasn't even halfway. I mean, it was up, but it wasn't even halfway through the groove. So I think
But you never know.
That's right. You never know. Yeah, you could probably stand back here even on this flat rock, and I'll stand up there a little bit. Originally, I was going to just nail cedar boards onto these cedar logs and call it a footbridge. But when I went to the sawmill, it cost too much. I said, no, there's got to be a better way. Well, what I did is I happened to have a 14-foot cattle gate laying around. It's heavy metal, 2 guys to lift it, it's heavy. Well, that's what this red thing is right here. It's laying on top, a cattle gate. Then I took old roofing. I ran about 2 courses that way, or 3 maybe, and 2 courses that way, and now I got a real solid base. Then I put these rocks on the edge and the gravel, and this is like basically a covered bridge now. I mean this is protected. It's up off the ground. It's not going to get wet from rain. This could be here 300 years. This will outlive me for sure. This variety I have grown down by the creek here is called STACY's rubro marginata, or it's also known as flute maker's bamboo, because the space between these nodes, this is called the internode, is the longest of any bamboo I have, and it's long enough you can cut that off and have a clear tube to make a flute out of. Mostly I grow this banana just to have a tropical look around my place. It's an awesome thing, and this banana is tolerant of our cold winters. It dies back on the top in the winter, but the roots stay alive. And so here we are in the spring. Now it's just starting to shoot up out of the ground, and I dig up a lot of those shoots and pot them up and sell them.
Darrell is letting me try his homegrown tomato juice. 5 different varieties of tomatoes. Oh wow, that is so good, and there's a little bit of salt in there too, which is perfect. Thanks so much for watching this channel and supporting my work, my videos, by liking them, sharing them with your friends. And if you would like to see more journeys like this where I meet interesting people doing interesting things, please consider becoming a patron of my channel by going to patreon.com/Late Bloomer Show and making a monthly donation. You can also use my Amazon link if you're ordering anything from Amazon. Everything helps to support this channel. Thanks so much for your support, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, please watch these. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I'll see you in the next video.